Oh, April, you totally became a cat. Meow. Oh, that's awesome. You're like us now. You're a mutant. This is great. I love playing with my ninja shirt. Oh, son of a... Oh, 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 oh. Why? Oh. What are you doing?
No.
You're over here hitting me.
No.
You were just over here with the you had the mask on. You're hitting me with the stick. Yeah. You were just hitting me.
No.
Where'd your mask go?
Sounds like a ninja.
Yeah, it sounds like you, Puppet Devall.
Could be anybody.
Oh yeah, who could be?
Could be Dash.
Yeah.
Could be Fire Hair.
I doubt it's Fire Hair.
Could be. You don't know. They're masters of disguise.
Oh, they're masters. I'm gonna bruise. I'm gonna have a bruise all up and down my back again.
I'm over here. I will be the brothers.
Can we do this review? It'd be great.
That would be nice. Alright, I'm coming. Why am I going down? I don't understand.
When did you put stairs in?
I don't know, that's wrong.
Hey boys and girls, get ready for an all-new toy review with Devall and my best puppet pal, Puppet Devall! Games and kids.
Hey gang, welcome to an all-new review right here. I'm not even done with my spiel.
What's in the box?
Welcome to an all-new review right here on ToyWorldOrder.com. No. Starring me, Devall, and my buddy, Puppet Devall.
No.
What's in the box, you're asking?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Can you do a William Shatner, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
That was good. Priceline. Today, as you guys can tell, my arm still hurts, and I'm not going to rub it because it's probably just going to get hurt more. And since this one thinks it's fun to run around in a little ninja mask with a stick.
No, you have no idea. The ninjas are a master of the sky.
The ninja is you. You are Puppatello.
Could be Dash. Could be Dash. It's probably the Fire Hair.
I doubt it's the Fire Hair. No,
It's the Fire Hair.
It's not the Fire Hair.
No.
No.
She seems like the ninja type.
It is not the Fire Hair.
I bet it is. ToyWorld Fire Hair. Dragon Warrior.
So anyway, Puppatello here thinks it's funny.
Hey, what's in the box?
To constantly hit me. You know, today, gang.
Yes, but I didn't do it today. Maybe.
Today, gang, you know, with the coming storm of the new Ninja Turtles movie that opens up August 8th in theaters everywhere, in 3D and IMAX and regular theaters as well. Today, we're going to actually take a look at the Shredder from the all-new Playmates Ninja Turtles toy line. He's a ninja. You know, it's like Masters. But I got a surprise for you.
What?
We're not just going to take a look at Shredder. No. We are going to take a look at every figure. Every figure from the Ninja Turtles movie line from this summer. So we're going to take a look at Shredder, the Foot Soldier, April O'Neil, Splinter, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Undercover Raphael. All 9 figures we're going to take a look at today and give you guys a special look at all these awesome figures. So, what do you say we take a look at these?
I think I'm behind the Shredder, so he can't really see me.
Oh, so he can't really see? Well,
no.
Now they can see you. You're
no,
fine.
Look at the toes.
Well, let's
open it.
Okay, let me open up Shredder. Well, let's talk about the packaging. The packaging for these is pretty cool. I mean, it's very easy to know that these are for the new Ninja Turtles movie. You've got the 4 Ninja Turtle film versions on the sides there, as well as the Ninja Turtle logo across the top there. You've got your character in a huge blister bubble, and these are very recognizable because this is kind of how Playmates does the current Nicktoons line in a way. You got the character's name there on the bottom, and then on the back you've got the lineup of all the figures, as well as a little bit.
Except for the phone on the cover.
As well as the story of the.
That's not all the figures.
As well as the story of the movie. The only figure that's not. The only figure that's not listed on the back of here is Undercover Raph, which is kind of weird. So, but the other 8 figures are listed on the back of here. So here, let me open this up here. Let me open up the Shredder. Peel the back off there. Oh, he's all like twisted tied in here, and oh, what's that? Oh, there's something you don't see every day with toy lines. A booklet for the rest of the stuff in the line. Well, that's kind of neat. It's got the Ninja Turtles logo on the front, and when you open it, it's got all the characters except for Undercover Raph on there. It's got the awesome. What are they calling it? The Turtle Assault Van. It's got the very cool Combat Warrior Deluxe figures, and then on the back you've got the huge 12-inch figures, the Evolution 3-packs of Leonardo and Raphael, the combat gear, and then the movie masks. So that's kind of neat. You don't usually see, you don't usually get a little toy pamphlet. That's kind of cool. Are you smelling Shredder?
Yes.
What's he smell like?
Plastic.
Yeah, plastic. Oh God, Playmates use these. They're using twist ties that actually don't have metal in them. They're just like twistable rubber, I guess you would call these things. I don't know. They're a pain to. There we go. They're a pain to get off. Shredder's cape is separate from the actual Shredder. And then you pull the Shredder out, and of course it's just the Shredder with all his knives and his cape. But let's now that Shredder has been loosed from his plastic prison that the Turtles have placed him in. What do you say we take a look at not only Shredder, but every figure in the new Ninja Turtles movie line? What do you say? Yeah, are you excited? Are you going to go put your mask back on and your stick and attack me again?
No.
Well, it's not you, right?
No, I'm not the fire.
It's not the fire hair. I seriously doubt it's the fire hair.
No.
Okay, I seriously doubt it. What do you guys say, gang? Let's take a look at these figures up close. Alright, so all 9 Ninja Turtles movie figures. So, you can't really see them all here, but let's, I'm going to take these guys out of the way here. Let's take a look first at the Turtles themselves, and we'll, come here, April. We'll go down the line from there. Oops. Let's take a look at our 4 main Ninja Turtles here. Now, of course, you know, we've got Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo. Of course, you can have a Turtles movie without the 4 Turtles, but let's start with here. Let's start with Leo. We might move Mikey, Raph, and Donnie here. Leonardo is pretty interesting. These figures, a lot of people have issues with the new look, the way the designs are. I actually don't have a problem with them, especially getting these figures in hand. The designs actually don't bother me that much because getting these figures in hands, I can kind of get a nice feel for this new look of the Ninja Turtles. But we'll take Leo's swords out of his hands here. The figure has some decent articulation. I mean, they all do. The Turtles can all move at the shoulder joints here, and they can't move too far up, but they can. It's like a nice little swivel hinge joint. They can move at the elbow here, so he can raise his elbow up and down, and he also can swivel, which is nice. No wrist articulation, which is kind of crappy, because the main forearm to the wrist here are molded in just this awkward kind of position to where his hand is just kind of tilted in, so you can't really do much other than hold one of his swords in his hand. If I can even hold a sword now, so you can't really. I mean, you can hold the sword, but some wrist articulation would have been really nice for that. No waist articulation. The head here just moves left and right. You would think that it would be able to move up and down, but I mean, because it's basically a ball jointed head. But unfortunately, it does not does not want to move up and down. It just moves, simply moves left and right. We've got, there's this this kind of soft rubber plastic piece here that it was representative of his, kind of got this little, you know, this little crotch piece on here. Like he's, you know, Leo's kind of got the samurai motif going on, but his legs here, he's got a joint that allow the legs to kind of bend out, but it's this weird swivel hip joint here that it'd be nice if they had been ball jointed, because then they could move a little bit more, a little freely away from the body. But as it is, there's only limited articulation you can really get from the hips here. The knees here are on a little hinge joint as well as a swivel, so they can move forward and backward and left and right there. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty cool to have. No ankle articulation on that. That's kind of crappy because again, while the turtles have some okay articulation, they don't really have all the best articulation that you probably could have in a figure like this that you would want, which again is fine. The details on them are pretty cool though. I mean, there's quite a few paint apps here that's nice. You know, Playmates has kind of skimped on some of the paint apps on the regular Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles line, but that's to keep the cost down in order to keep these figures at below $9. I mean, they're $8.88 right now, so that's basically some of the cheapest, you know, 6-inch scale action figures you can get right now. So skimping out on the paint apps on some of the figures is their way of cutting costs and saving costs and keeping these figures very affordable. So as you can see, you've got his nice samurai. You know, he's got some samurai motif going on here on his chest here, as well as his outfit here represents kind of a samurai. He's got the weird, you know, the shoulder pads here, and his feet are all taped up, much like, you know, a samurai boot would be. On his back, the shell. I mean, these figures are really pretty richly detailed for what they are, which is really nice. So you've got the shell. The belts here don't come off. You could take them off, but they are. They're not sculpted, but they are glued here to the belt, so, or to the back, so you can't really take the belts on and off like you could regular figures. He has a little sword sheath here that actually can connect right into the hole on his back right there, so he can actually put both of his swords in his sheaths, just like that. And Leo can actually hold both his swords in his sheaths, and we'll get to the other turtles, but this is the only turtle that can actually store his weapons. The other one don't have anywhere to store their weapons, which is kind of crappy. But again, Leo can, you know, oops, take the thing off there, put it back on. There we go. Get the swords out. Leo can hold his swords in his hand pretty easy. The hands are just soft rubber here, so they can open and close pretty well. So you shouldn't have any problem getting the weapons into Leo's hands. But Leo can he holds his swords pretty good, and you can kind of get a couple of good poses there. You can kind of get poses of him bringing him out of his sheath or whatnot. So overall, Leo's a pretty decent figure. I like Leonardo a lot. Let's move on to Donatello, who actually, of course, is the techie of the group. You know, no surprise there. Donatello here is pretty cool. He's got some really interesting design elements. He's got, you know, since he's the techie guy and kind of the nerdy guy, he's got the kind of spy goggles on top here. He's got this backpack strewn across his shell, which attaches to his belt here. The belt lacks a little bit of. Let me move his bow staff out here. The belt here lacks a little bit of detail. Again, you know, the paint apps are a little bit skimped on due to cost-cutting measures, which is fine. He does have some nice details in the forearms, although on this one, on his forearm, his forearm isn't painted all the way down. It only paints so far, and then there's a little section right here that actually still green plastic, so they didn't actually paint mine all the way down like it probably should have. All the turtles have the same articulation, but the design elements on each one are much different. You know, Donatello's got the knee pads going on here. He's got elbow pads. He's got these you know, one black boot with a shin guard and the other black boot just tied around his waist. He actually has the longest of the bandana ends here. So those bandana ends are actually much longer than all the other turtles. The backpack here is, again, you can't really tell, but there's some neat design elements. There's you know, some hoses and some dials and some fans and such. Pretty cool. There's a little thing up here that I'm guessing is supposed to be like a little satellite. That at first I thought maybe he could actually store his bow staff there, but it doesn't stay, as you can see. That's kind of sad. He does come, of course, with his bow staff, but the bow staff is much different than we as Turtle fans are used to seeing. It's in the movie, I'm guessing, and it shows this, it's an extendable bow staff, so this end here would collapse into the end here, and then this telescoping end would collapse down onto itself to make it easier for him to store and then bring out and attack the foot with, so it's pretty cool. Again, it's pretty easy for him to hold his weapon. You just kind of get that in there, and you can kind of get him to hold his weapon pretty nicely. Again, no articulation in the wrists. Really kind of is sad because you could get these turtles in so much cooler poses if he had some wrist articulation. So Donatello's pretty cool. I think Donatello actually, and people are probably going to hate me for this because a lot of people don't like the look of Donatello in this movie, but I really like this figure, and I think the look is really cool. He's got some nice design elements. Let's look at Michelangelo, our little party dude. Mikey's kind of cool. He comes with here, we'll take his weapons out here. Mikey's got he's more of like the street, the street punk look kind of. He's got a chain going on here. He's got a hooded sweatshirt, because you can see the hoodie right here. He's got a hooded sweatshirt tied around his waist. He's actually wearing like sports pants and shoes to match, and he's cut the fronts out of the shoes so he can actually wear the tennis shoes, which is pretty interesting. Mikey, again, I mean, all these figures are really cool, and you can tell the difference in the design elements and the different personality aspects of each of the characters is represented in the toys. I mean, Mikey, of course, has always been kind of the skateboarder party dude, and he's represented by that in what he is wearing to basically give himself his identity. So, again, it's pretty cool. These waist pieces here, they kind of hamper the figures because it's soft plastic on top and then this really rough, kind of hard, thick plastic back here to hold the shape. But you can see better on Mikey here the leg articulation right there, how the leg has to be at a certain point in order to move out, and then you would have to move the knee. So when he's got his leg out, it looks really funky because his kneecap is all the way pointed. It would have been better if these would have had some ball jointed hips. That would have made these figures, at least the turtles, much cooler. But he's got some metal, almost some metal brass knuckle plates on the tops of his hands. That's kind of cool. And his hands are all taped up, and unfortunately you can't really see it because they didn't paint it. But he's got some chains on his hand right there. So it's kind of a nice idea. All the turtles are wearing different outfits to represent their personality again, and it's cool that the sculpts on these figures show that off, and that's really nice. I like Michelangelo. He comes with 2 nunchucks. He comes with this triple nunchuck, which actually is really, really big. Why it's so big, I don't know, but he comes with the triple nunchuck, which it's just on rubber cords here, and it can spring back into place, but he can hold it. And then he comes with the one regular nunchuck here, so he can actually hold. Would have been cooler if he just would have came with a pair of regular nunchucks, but the triple nunchuck, while it's kind of funky, it's kind of cool that he has 2 weapons here. That's pretty neat. I like Michelangelo. I think, again, Donatello is my favorite, but I really, really like Michelangelo. And again, the heads are a major problem because they don't move up and down. I mean, because they're just kind of static, moving left or right, and that's kind of sad, but that's all right. Let's move on to our last main turtle here, which is our Raphael. Raphael is cool because he's really taken the almost Dark Knight Batman approach to his look. I mean, he's got a mask that covers up the top of his head and his face, and he's got all this. He's got a torn up. I don't even know if it would have been a sweatshirt or what it is, but he looks like a warrior. I mean, he just really, of course, Raphael's always been the hothead and the fighter of the group, and really looks like that. I mean, the way his feet are taped up, the way his fists here are taped up, and Raphael does come with both of his size. And what's cool what Playmates did here, of course, with Raphael the most, is that they actually sculpted his hands and his fingers farther apart, so he can hold his sai like that, which is kind of cool. He can hold it, in between his fingers, like he does in the cartoons and stuff, or he can hold his sai just like this. But I like it much better when he's posed with his sai like that. It's pretty cool. And the Raphael, the back, all the other turtles, their bandana ends are tied around their heads, and this one he's got more of like it's almost like a do-rag look, really, because he's got it tied around his head and it's coming off his back here. Raphael's here's what's interesting about the turtles. Okay, so Raphael, if you look at the size difference in comparison, they've made all of the turtles here. I'll try to get them all on screen here for you so you can see. They've made all 4 of the turtles different sizes and different widths. So you've got Michelangelo, who is the smallest turtle. You've got Leonardo, who is the the more lean. Donatello, who is very skinny, and I mean he's still muscular, but he's very tiny, very small. And then you got Raphael, who is this just bulking Hulk. And that didn't really come across in any of the movie trailers, but it comes across great here in the fact that they kept the difference in the heights and the difference in the size of all of these figures. So they look really cool standing next to one another, because there's major difference of the size aspect and how they stand next to one another. It's really cool. And their skin textures, which you can't really tell on camera, but their skin textures are all different. Michelangelo's got a little bit more smoother. Leonardo here's got a little bit more scales going on. Donatello is a lighter color green, and the Raphael's got his scales on his body are really pronounced and really cool. Almost like he's got tattoos all over his body, almost, if you look at him close enough, and it's pretty cool. And I really like it. Of course, Raphael being the warrior, none of the other turtles really have a beat-up shell, but Raphael here, let me move these guys back out of the picture. Whoa, Donatello. Donatello's fallen. Raphael here has got some scarring going on right across the back of his shell, right under his belt there, and that's pretty cool. He's got some other scars on the front of his chest plate here, so he's got some scarring going on, just like you would imagine Raphael would, and that's really cool. I love Raphael. Let's take a look at some of the other secondary characters. Let's take a look at Master Splinter. Master Splinter is probably my least favorite of the new toys, and I think it's just because the sculpt here, while it represents how this character looks in the film, it's not great. I mean, he's got this pink stripe going down his head, and it just looks really off to me. Not that I think it's just the character design, really. But Master Splinter here has got articulation at the shoulder here, kind of where his elbow is, can swivel, so he could swivel there. His hands actually can turn, so you can actually turn his hands in and out there. And his legs do have some articulation, but again, because of the skirting here, they don't go. I mean, you couldn't sit Splinter down. Splinter couldn't sit down. He just simply can stand and be posed. And his head can move left and right. And he's got some cool design elements. He's wearing his master's robe, so he's got the great symbols on the back that are painted. He's got some great symbolism on the fronts here, on the front sides, on his lapels of his gi there. You can see his master's belt and his rags that he's got underneath that. And he's also got a medallion, which is kind of cool, which is hanging from his neck here. Very cool little unpainted medallion, but it just it hangs around his neck. It's just a separate piece there, and that's cool. He comes with a sword that you can actually, it can actually, much like Leonardo, he can hold on to this, but much like Leonardo, the sword can come out of its sheath, which is pretty cool. So you can have him holding it in his sheath. You can have him with weapon drawn. I think it's much cooler to kind of have him holding his sword in sheath, his sword in sheath here at his side, so he can kind of be ready for battle, so he can reach in and grab his sword if need be. Splinter, again, my least favorite of these figures, but still, I mean, if you're collecting the whole line, you kind of need Master Splinter. So let's have Splinter waddle over here. Moving on to Miss April O'Neil, who is portrayed by Megan Fox, and this figure looks nothing like Megan Fox, but that's okay. We'll let that slide. She comes with a few accessories here. She actually has a bag that's a separate piece around her neck here, that little camera bag that she can hold into. She comes with a little tiny camera there, and she actually comes with a pair of Raphael's sais, which is kind of cool because anyone who's familiar with, you know, the original 1989 Ninja Turtles movie, you know, she ended up with one of Raphael's size in the movie, and in this one she has both of them, which kind of leads us to think that maybe she's probably going to end up with both sides somehow, somewhere. We're not sure how yet. The figure itself, though, is probably Splinter may have been my least favorite. This is probably the one I'm just, you know, I'm kind of sad about, because she could have had some more articulation and still been, you know, still been posable. But she moves at the shoulders, so her shoulders come, you know, up and down and left and right there. You know, can swing. Her hands can turn, so that's nice. She can turn her hands. She's got a swivel at her hip, so she can actually, if she wanted, she could kick out, and that's cool. And that's it. Other than her head kind of moves, but because of the way the hair's sculpted, it looks funky if she's not just staring straight on. Which, if you're gonna pose her and she's looking all funky like that, you know, the hair's kind of hanging weird, and I don't know. I just don't like how the sculpting of the hair kind of hampers her movement of her head. But she can hold Raph's size pretty good, so she actually can hold on to both sides. Well, one hand anyway, kinda. She can kind of hold on to both of Raphael's size. But she's also supposed to be able to hold this camera, and she should be able to hold this camera so she is posed with it just... She's supposed to be able to hold it like that. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't stay in her hand. So really the only way you can really pose her and have her holding her camera is if she's holding it if she's holding it around the lens like this, and she's like carrying it like she's ready to you know, bring it up and snap a picture. And it's kind of sad. She should have a little bit more a more closed hand, so she can hold that better. But overall, the cool thing, at least on here, and we'll get to why in a minute, the eyes, they spent some time, and the eyes are very well painted and very nicely painted. I mean, it may not look like Megan Fox, but at least it doesn't look like a horror show. So she has a really nicely painted face, and that pays off good when we come to this next figure, which is none other than the new version of the Foot Soldiers, who in this movie are basically hired guns. They're soldiers for hire, basically. They're not really a band of ninja warriors, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. A lot of people aren't, but I'm okay with it. But he actually can, you know, because he doesn't have any skirting or anything else, he actually can get some nice articulation. And the Foot Soldier, out of all of them, has the, I think, you know, the two villains of the line have the best articulation line, because he's got articulation at the shoulder and the elbow, and his wrists can swivel, and his hips, he's got the hip movement, he's got knee movement there, he's got an ankle joint, which is cool, so the ankle can pivot. That's awesome. He can move at the waist, which a lot of these figures can't. I believe April can move. Yeah, April can barely move at the waist. Not well. She doesn't move well. That was the only reason I didn't mention it, because it's there, but it's not there. So it's really kind of pointless to mention that. But he moves at the waist, and his head, of course, moves left and right. He comes with a number of accessories, though. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of weaponry here. I'm going to leave this for last. So he comes with a little stun gun that is actually used in one of the trailers. In the newest trailer, we see him use it on the turtles. They capture the turtles with these stun guns. He's got a little dagger, a little knife there. He's got a little, probably like a little 9mm handgun there. So that's pretty cool. And he's got this like big rifle with a silencer on it. And what's great about the two of the three smaller weapons is the gun here. He's got a holster on his right hip here, and the gun, his small handgun, actually can fit into the holster. That's pretty cool. On his back here, he's got a little knife, a little sheath here for his knife, and the knife can slide right down in that sheath like that. And that way, that leaves him access to hold his other two weapons in his hands, just like that. So you've got you could buy a number of these and have a nice little foot soldier army. Now, this mask here is removable, and we talked about April's face, and how April's face was pretty well done. Watch what happens when I take this mask off. I know he doesn't have much of a face, but dear Lord, look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. The eyes are, well, they're just two black dots. Where April actually, had some work done to him. They still could have done the same thing to the foot soldier, but they're kind of frightening. The foot soldier's got crazy, like, Just crazy, crazy eyes. Why? Oh, why did you do that? Oh. Why did one of your smoke bombs go off? Oh my gosh. Anyway, like I was saying, crazy eyes. I mean, the foot soldier has. The foot soldier. Look at him, Puppet Devall.
It's crazy. Let's get the crazy eyes. Go on.
Yeah, the foot soldiers have some crazy eyes. So, the foot soldier I think is. Yeah, he gets back on. The foot soldier I think is one of the weakest two characters. Next to Splinter, because Splinter really is kind of the weakest character in the whole lot. Even though April doesn't have a whole lot of articulation, even she's a little better than the foot soldier. Creepy eyes. Ready? Oh.
No! No!
Well, before we get to the big baddie, even though we looked at one of the villains, let's take a look at something that's pretty cool, and it's a figure that actually is not listed on the back of the packages, and you wouldn't know.
What?
I know, right? You wouldn't know. Let me take. He's holding on to the size that actually come with April.
What?
I know, right? And it is the Undercover Raphael from the film. And like I said, this film actually is not listed on the back of the packaging.
Is not listed on the back?
The figure, sorry. The figure is actually not listed on the back of the packaging. It is one of the figures that I think people were a little surprised by. Even though we knew we were getting it, it was a little surprising to see him and not see him on the back of the package. But Disguised Raphael is pretty cool. He's got a little removable hat here, a removable pair of sunglasses, and this removable scarf that just kind of plugs against his face. And underneath here, basically, underneath this rubber trench coat. I know, right? Naked ninja time. Basically, underneath here is the same body and is the same body and buck of the regular Raphael figure. So it's the same Raphael figure. It's just unpainted underneath the coat here, right? But the coat is new and it's all a soft rubber, and then the arms and the hands are actually new sculpted pieces. This is a hard plastic arm, and he really doesn't have a whole lot of articulation because of the suit, so he's mostly just a display-only figure, as I like to call them.
Display-only.
Yep, you really can't get a whole lot of play value out of the disguised Raphael, but like I said, he's got the little mask there. That plugs onto his face here. It just simply pops over and plugs in behind his hair, or behind his head. The sunglasses kind of just slide on there. They just sit on his face, basically. And then the hat is the weirdest part because it's got a little a pushed-in part back here. Like the hat is kind of smooshed, so it'll sit against his shell. But the problem is it doesn't really sit on his head that well. He couldn't do a whole lot of playing because the hat and stuff they just fall off. And then he's not in disguise anymore. Then he's a weird Raphael with scarf on. He's SARS Raphael, as I like to call him.
He's Scarface.
He's Scarface.
Say hello to my little
and of course,
friends.
the weird thing is this is what the figure comes with, and he doesn't come with a pair of size. The size actually, of course, come with the April O'Neil figure. So, in order to get Raphael's size for this figure, you kind of have to get April to get another pair of size.
That's how they get you.
I know, right? Undercover Raphael, like I said, he doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. His feet and stuff can have the same movement. His arms can move. His hands turn. And that's about it. And his head can turn, but there's really no point. Knees and toes. There's really no point to it. So, he's an alright figure, but if you're a completist, he's kind of one you have to have.
Yes, by definition.
Yes. And then last but not least is none other than the big baddie. Is the villain of the film, of course, the Shredder.
That which does not kill you makes you stronger.
This version of the Shredder, of course, has kind of caught a lot of people up in arms because it's a more cybernetic, robotic-looking Shredder. Because he's basically, according to what we've seen in the trailers, he's wearing a robotic suit to an extent.
So he's like the Silver Samurai from the Wolverine movies.
Yes, but not nearly as kooky.
Huh.
He actually, even though his design is different, you can tell it's the Shredder. The mask is iconic. He's got the arm blades, the shoulder blades. He's got these crazy 3 knives here that actually in the trailer he shows them launching off at the turtles, and they basically boomerang and reattach to his arms. It's pretty nuts. The blades on his feet. He's got some good articulation here, and we'll get to that in a second. He's got a soft rubber cape back here that's really soft and detailed. Yeah, it does have. It's got blades on the side, which I think is one of my coolest features. Is it's got these really cool blades, and then the cape just detaches.
Oh no!
He's got 2 holes in the.
You broke it.
No, I didn't. He's got 2 holes on his back, and the cape's got 2 little pegs, so the cape can come on and off, which is kind of cool. But with it off, you get a look at his articulation now. What's cool here is, before we get to the actual arms and everything, the shoulder pads here actually are articulated. So they're actually on a little pivot here. They can pivot up and down. So when you move the shoulders, the shoulder pads actually will move up with the arms, which is kind of cool. So you can get some nice range of movement without the shoulder pads hampering the articulation. But he moves at the shoulders move up and can move, can move 360 degrees here. He's got articulation at the elbow. Raw. He can do the Jersey fist bump. Boots and pants. His hand actually can turn. It does turn.
No.
So he's got a turning hand, which not a lot of the figures have in this line. His head, of course, can move left and right. Raw. Can't move up and down though. That seems to be a problem with the line, is that it doesn't seem like he can swivel at the waist. And then his legs here can move, forward and back and up and down here. He's got articulation at the knees, and his ankles actually are articulated, so they can move up and down, which is kind of cool. And thanks to that, you can actually get Shredder in some pretty darn decent poses. I mean, you can get him posed in some cool. Takes a little work, but you can get him to work. Yeah, you can get him. Come on, Shredder. Come on, Shredder. Oh, look at that. Look at that dynamic pose. That's pretty darn neat. But Shredder is probably my favorite of the line, even though, like I said, a lot of people don't like his look. I like this updated look of Shredder. I think it's pretty neat. Again, though, we talk about the lack of paint applications on these figures, of course, was done to keep the cost of these figures below $9. So, the cost-saving methods is kind of crappy, because this figure, and I've seen a lot of customizers since these figures have come out, repainting these figures to make them look amazing with very minimal paint applications, some black wash and some little highlights here and there. Would have done the sculpts on these figures amazing, because the sculpts are actually really good on these figures. The turtles especially, the sculpts are really nice. It's just the paints don't do them well. And the Shredder's the same way. He's basically, you've got flesh-colored arms in the face, and then the rest of it's this two-tone silver and gray kind of. And it really does not lend itself well to the details on Shredder, especially somewhere like his back. There's a lot of cool little details along his back. His front, there's a lot of nice details. There's some like kanji symbols or whatnot, some ancient symbols on his right above his pectorals here. A very cool design, and the cape would be really cool if it was black washed, because it would bring out all this this diamond-shaped design that's on the back of it. But all in all, this is a really cool line. I mean, a lot of people have kind of crapped on it and said bad things about it. For kids, though, that are going to be fans of this film, which, let's face it, this new generation has its own versions of Turtles, Puppet Devall. And this is their version. This is their version. The Nicktoons is their version. This is their Turtles.
And my version is the one true version.
Oh my God!
That's to the infidels.
Down, boy. Kids are gonna love this line. I mean, they're gonna be really collectible figures. They're gonna be really hard to find once the film comes out. Here, let's crazy eyes. They are going to be really hard to track down, I believe, when the movie finally hits next month in August. And if you're a turtle collector, I suggest you try to go out and maybe try to find these, because they are really good. The 4 turtles are great. Shredder's great. The rest of the characters, Splinter, April, kind of, if you're a hardcore collector, you're going to want them all. But at least get the 4 turtles and Shredder. They're worth picking up. Well, there you go, gang. There's a look at the entire selection of the basic assortment of Ninja Turtles movie figures that are out right now at stores everywhere. You can find these at Walmart's, Target's, Toys R Us. Everyone has these toys, or should, by the time you see this video. So they're really cool. I kind of, a lot of people hated on the look of the film and the characters in the movie. And a lot of people kind of hated on the figures themselves when we saw them, leaked out during Toy Fair in February. but having them February, having them in hand, they really are cool. I mean, all the turtles are actually slightly different scale from one another. You know, where Raphael is thicker and his arms and his legs are bigger. Donatello is very svelte and skinny. Michelangelo is shorter than all of them, and then Leonardo is more Leonardo's more like, you know, he's buff but not as buff as Raph. Splinter is probably, there's two of my least favorite figures in here, Splinter and April O'Neil. Splinter, while is cool, he doesn't look that great. The paint's kind of funky. He's got this big pink stripe down his face. It's kind of weird. Undercover Raph is kind of funny because if you look underneath, like we showed in the video, if you look underneath the coat, they literally took the Raphael figure unpainted, like they didn't do any paint apps to it except for the face and the hands, of course, and then stuck this coat. Stuck the coat and the arms on, so he would kind of be hidden, but it's like this naked buck body underneath there. Shredder's cool. Shredder looks really neat in figure form. I really like the Shredder. I think he's kind of cool looking. People said he's got a lot going on, a lot of blades, but that's cool to me. He's like this cybernetic samurai kind of thing, and it's kind of neat. The Foot Soldier. None of the Foot Soldier's eyes are any good. All of them have crazy eyes. Like this guy is crazy eyes. But he comes with cool stuff. You know, he's got the knife, he's got the gun, you know, the big rifle, he's got the stun gun, which is cool. And then April, who, like, everyone in this line has got articulation. Like, the Undercover Raph has articulation in the legs, but not in the elbows. Sorry, not in the elbows or the, you know, anything like that. But all the other basic figures have some really good articulation. Minus, like, you know, Splinter doesn't because of his cloak. But you get Shredder, you get the Turtles, you get the Foot Soldier. They all have really great... more articulation than some of the basic Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles that are out right now, which is kind of cool. April, on the other hand, April gets, 5 points. She gets a turning head, she gets shoulders, and she gets her hips that they don't do. I mean, she can kind of do the splits, I guess. You could do that with her. And she doesn't really, while she's got a little camera bag, and she comes with a camera, she can't really, I mean, you got to really work at it to get her to hold her camera in her hand, because she just doesn't want to seem like the hand is open way too big. So April and Splinter are my two least favorite figures out of this line. Followed by Undercover Raph, who is kind of unwieldy and doesn't want to stand up, and his stuff doesn't stay on very well, but I really like Undercover Raph. I think he's kind of a neat looking figure, and it's kind of a novel figure for the line. But the rest of them, I love Shredder, I love the 4 Turtles. I think the 4 Turtles are really well done. Even though the paint apps are kind of skimped on, but that's just the MO with current figures right now. They keep the price points down, they skimp on the paint apps. Raphael probably has the most out of all of them because he actually has like his bands on his feet and his arms colored, whereas Donatello doesn't. They're all just green like his legs. I love them. I think the articulation's great. I wish the heads could do a little bit more movement because they just turn left and right because they're on, you know, they're just on a ball joint, but there's no room for the head to actually move up and down on said ball. So very cool. But I think Playmates did a great job with the movie figures. Of course, they do a great job with all the Turtle stuff, but I think the movie stuff turned out better than people expected to or hoped to. Maybe down the line we'll get they'll release new wave assortments that maybe have some new paint apps. That maybe have some new paint apps to them, and that'd be cool. So hope you guys enjoyed the look at the entire wave of Ninja Turtles movie figures. We had a lot of fun showing them to you. Puppet Devall and I, or Puppet Tello as I like to call him, we'll be back real soon. Oh crap! Well, gang, we'll be back real soon with another review. Getting kind of nervous and itchy because I don't know. Well, gang, join us again when we come back. Hopefully, it's not another ninja-inspired thing because I can't take any more beatings. Okay, we'll see you next time. Take care. We'll see you next time right here on ToyWorldOrder. Bye. I'm so scared. I don't want to get hit. I'm going to go upstairs. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to avoid all of this down here. He can't get me if I'm upstairs. Yes. That's where I'm going. I'm going upstairs. Forget this. Take an Undercover Raph with me. Ah, thank God. No more ninja stuff. It's great.
Shadow Warrior.